Hello, this is Ray Main here again for today's Bible reading. Today we're going to be reading in the book of Genesis, chapter 20. And Abraham journeyed from thence toward the south country, and dwelled between Kadesh and Shur, and sojourned in Gerar. And Abraham said of Sarah his wife, She is my sister. And Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah. But God came to Abimelech in a dream by night, and said to him, Behold, thou art but a dead man, for the woman which thou hast taken, for she is a man's wife. But Abimelech had not come near, and he said, Lord, wilt thou slay also a righteous nation? Said he not unto me, She is my sister? And she, even she herself, said, He is my brother. In the integrity of my heart and innocency of my hands have I done this. God said unto him in a dream, Yea, I know that thou didst this in the integrity of thy heart, for I also withheld thee from sinning against me. Therefore suffered I thee not to touch her. Now therefore restore the man his wife, for he is a prophet, and he shall pray for thee, and thou shalt live. And if thou restore her not, know that thou shalt surely die, thou and all that are thine. Therefore Abimelech rose early in the morning, and called all his servants, and told all these things in their ears, and the men were sore afraid. Then Abimelech called Abraham, and said unto him, What hast thou done unto us? And what have I offended thee, that thou hast brought on me and on my kingdom a great sin? Thou hast done deeds unto me that ought not to be done. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, What sawest thou that thou hast done this thing? And Abraham said, Because I thought, Surely the fear of God is not in this place, and they will slay me for my wife's sake. And yet indeed she is my sister. She's the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother, and she became my wife. And it came to pass, when God caused me to wander from my father's house, that I said unto her, This is thy kindness which thou shalt show unto me. At every place whither we shall come, say of me, He is my brother. And Abimelech took sheep and oxen and men servants and women servants, and gave them unto Abraham, and restored him Sarah his wife. And Abimelech said, Behold, my land is before thee, dwell where it pleaseth thee. And unto Sarah he said, Behold, I have given thy brother 1,000 pieces of silver. Behold, he is to thee a covering of the eyes, and unto all that are with thee, and with all other. Thus she was reproved. So Abraham prayed unto God, and God healed Abimelech and his wife and his maidservants, and they bare children. For the Lord had fast closed up all the wombs of the house of Abimelech, because of Sarah, Abraham's wife. Well, what kind of a lesson can we get out of this? I don't think any of us today, anyhow, those of us, I'm assuming those of you that are following this reading, following this Bible study, I'm assuming that you're trying the best that you know how to be a Christian. So these things may sound kind of strange to us. Whenever, in the New Testament, we read all of the scriptures, several places in the New Testament where it was talking about Abraham was deemed a righteous man because he believed God. And then we get here in Genesis, and we discover the story of Abraham and how things came about, at least in these earlier settings here. And it may come across your mind that what's the deal? Why would God choose Abraham? Well, to be honest with you, I don't know right here, right now, at this part of the story. It would be hard to come up with that. But let me put something out here, and you think about it as we go on through this story. There's a scripture in the book of Romans, wasn't it, that said, It's not of him that willeth or him that runneth, but of God that showeth mercy. What you and I may find worthy doesn't necessarily compute to what God's God. And who He chooses. And He's able to turn them around. If they're not doing things right, He's able to turn them around. Just stop and think about the mercy that He's shown you and how He's changed your life, the impact that He's had on your life. And if someone, and I might say this, if somebody was reading your story, like we're reading Abraham's story right here in this section, if somebody were reading your story, would they shake their head? Would they wonder, why would God have anything to do with them? I'll tell you right now, I've wondered that about myself a lot. Just something to think about. Talk to you tomorrow. God bless.